Coming up.
What do you think of Bill Maher's comment about MTV being there?
I'm surprised by it.
Yeah?
He seems like such a cutting-edge kind of guy that he would, you know...
He's getting older, I think.
It happens.
Kids. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to agree with him, but that's always been my attitude.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think it's just MTV. It's cultural.
Yeah, there's no values anywhere.
Completely across the board cultural.
Maybe it'll swing back. Things swing around back and forth.
You know what? It's not going to unless we all start living different. You can change all kinds of laws, but until you change a human heart, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. And maybe the priorities different.
We're sitting in the back right before the show goes on. I hear the tease. They say that you're going to come out here and that we're going to ask you about Martha Stewart and how you can relate to what she's gone through. So I've got to ask you right up top, watching all of this with Martha.
Well, the only part that I can really relate to is the frenzy, the feeding frenzy. And another bad thing about our culture is this glee thing that we have when people are suffering. I mean, I think when you get some sort of pleasure out of other people's pain, aren't you the one that's sick? You know, I mean, and yet we just...
Depends on what you're into.
Don't make me finish you off today. Last time, I took mercy on you last time. I'm showing no mercy today. You are looking awesome.
Thank you, sis.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have you set a date? Are you all...
She's not telling me.
Yeah,
it's in the fall.
Did you get my note, though? Tell you, I'm so happy for you, sweetie.
You're sweetheart. You know, we're so happy for you because for somebody who decided to go away from daytime television, you're busier than ever.
Yeah.
Last time you were here, we were doing, you're going to do Hope and Faith.
Hope and Faith, yeah, I did. And that was so much fun.
Caustic waitress in that.
I was a psychotic waitress.
Yes, exactly.
I had a ball doing that, though. I had a ball.
So sitcoms, is that in your future?
I was offered a few because of that role. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's just people see you differently sometimes, and it just doesn't appeal to me at the time. It's all about the writing and the stuff that is sent to me.
But when you're a character, Kathie Lee, don't you like to play a bitch?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, she's so good. Because when you're a saint in person, it's a drag.
No challenge there. No, I do. I love to play those roles because that's why you want to be an actress, is to play people that are different from yourself, you know.
You were funny.
I had a good time.
You left daytime because you wanted to spend more time.
I knew something was different.
You know, you wanted to spend more time with your family, right? And you also wanted to stay out of the tabloids. Did that work when you left, when you took that time off? Did they leave you alone, kind of way?
If they can sell their newspapers, they're not going to leave you alone. Right. You guys know. You're the subject of it as well. I think it died down a little bit, only because I didn't make my life as accessible to them. When you're on a show like this every day, you're basically inviting the vultures to pick on your carcass, you know? And my carcass is home most of the time now. And but it wasn't really to spend some more time with. I've always had a lot of time with my family. I was finished at 10:30, the way you guys are finished at noon, unless you do other stuff for the show. But my daddy was very ill, and I wanted to be with my daddy. We knew that he was terminal, and he was the finest, most godly man I've ever known in my life, and I wanted to be with him and support my mom and my sister, who really were, prior. And I wanted him to die with the dignity he deserved, because there are no finer man. I didn't want cameras in his face, you know. And so you never regret when you make a decision like that. And I creatively you guys knew, I wanted to leave many years
on that show?
15 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, you guys been doing this now.
It's been on that show.
It's 40, I think. No, honestly. You've been doing a version of his show. There's my read.
45 years old.
You still get together with him, though.
We do. We had dinner a couple of weeks ago, and we get to, it's funny, we get together now basically the same amount of time we used to get together. But we worked together before. We'd have dinner maybe 5 times a year, and we just laugh right up. He wants to know how the dog is, named after him. His namesake. He said, I love to go, Regis, don't you dare poop. But it's just fun.
So I'm
I'm going to actually ask you about the CD because I know that you started out in music doing Christian music.
Started out in folk music originally.
Oh, that's interesting.
At the turn of the century.
25 years ago, though.
Yeah, I did my last inspirational album.
Inspirational album.
Right.
Then you've done everything from sort of the show tunes to pop to cabaret to everything.
Yeah.
But I hear that you were reluctant to do this CD. Why?
Well, I've been writing these musicals that are all going to be produced in the next year. So I have 3 musicals that I'm very, very excited about. Well, hopefully, please, from your lips to God's sweet ears. Yeah, they premiere this fall, hopefully in Dallas, Texas.
And regional theater.
Regional theater. Everything starts.
Yes, of course.
And starts there. And so, in fact, we had a reading of it at our house yesterday in the city and one at our house last night for the last backers auditions and things. So it's happening, and it's
so exciting.
You know, I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my life, but the work is so creative.
Yeah.
And I've got the zit to show for it. I tell you.
You know what? Just the stress. Did the daily grind of the show keep you from being more creative, do you think?
Yeah, it did.
Really?
Yeah, it did.
You would think it would just keep like a snowball, but it doesn't. It's
not
drains
doing
you.
You can't.
And you don't have the time to do that kind of work. I've taken, it took 4 years to do the first musical.
Yeah.
I never had that luxury of that kind of time to write it. And I was doing rewrites yesterday, right up before the time we did the performance.
Yeah.
So there's a dynamic aspect to it, you guys. It is so thrilling. And, you know, I
Now the CD?
Oh, yeah. So when they called me to do the CD, thank you so much. See, I'm out of practice. Yeah. Watch it. I'm going to keep on going. I'm telling you, been working out, and I can take her. She's got 7 years old. I got nasty letters. People thought I was really hurting you.
Oh, that's all right. People don't understand sometimes.
Yeah.
We're just kidding.
That's a waterfront property. We have a history together. We go back so far, it's unbelievable. Anyway, the gentleman called me to do the album, and he said, I just really feel that you're supposed to do an inspirational album. You've been through so much, and people know what your trials and tribulations have been, they think, and yet you still are smiling. You still seem to...
You fit it in.
And now you're blessed.
I'm blessed, but you know, this faith that I have has always been there, and that's what... You don't go run into God when everything goes wrong.
That's right.
You walk with Him every day.
Well, you got to run home. Take that carcass home, as you said.
I'll take it.
Thanks to Gifford, and check out her new CD, Gentle Grace. We'll be right back with Autopsies, Dr. Michael Bottom.
Oh, yeah. Well, we go.